Today, in Part 1 of Canto 51 of Yoga Vasistha, we will discuss Sri Rama's basic questions, the law of stability and repetition of knowledge, the path to salvation, the true form of the Supreme Being, the falseness of appearances, and other topics. Welcome, my dear disciple. Today, we're going on a profound journey together. We'll start with Sri Rama's fundamental questions, move into how knowledge takes root, explore the true ways to liberation, unveil the actual form of God, expose the falsehood of what we see around us, and finally bring it all down to earth with practical teachings for your daily life. Let's dive right in. Section 1. Sri Rama's fundamental questions. Think about the catalyst for this entire beautiful discourse. Picture the profound doubts rising in the mind of Sri Rama. Like so many of us, he looked out at the world and saw human suffering, fleeting joys, and this endless, exhausting cycle of desires. He really wanted to understand the absolute root of this restless reality. Listen closely to the core inquiry captured in verse 18. Gatam idam drishyam utpannam, katam cha stitim agatam. The literal meaning here is, how has this visible world arisen, and how has it become so firmly established in the mind? O Rama, this is the very foundation of your philosophical inquiry. You're asking how our perception, this constant struggle of the conditioned mind, somehow comes to feel so incredibly real and so binding to us. To really answer that, we have to define the central conflict of our perceived reality: mind and conditioning. You see, the conditioned mind is a state of consciousness completely bound up by worldly attachments, unceasing desires, and false perceptions. It's kind of like a bird that has completely forgotten the open sky simply because it's lived so long in a cage of its own making. This conditioning is precisely what creates our eternal struggle. Section 2. Stability and repetitive knowledge. Let's look at how this builds up over time. If the mind is conditioned, how exactly did it get that way? And more importantly, how do we recondition it toward the truth? Listen to the transliteration of verses 19 and 20. Abhyasana triratvam yati, punaha punar mananena cha. The direct translation outlines the law of stability. Through continuous practice and repeated contemplation, any reality becomes firmly established. Just as a river carves a deep canyon by repeatedly flowing over the same rock, the repetition of knowledge creates the stability of the world we perceive. This is a brilliant, timeless truth. Literally, it means you absolutely need repeated focus. Spiritually, it tells us that anchoring a wandering mind requires constant, repetitive meditation on the ultimate truth. It's fascinating, really. Even what modern science now calls neuroplasticity, the building of stable neural pathways through repeated habits, is just echoing this ancient wisdom. Your reality, O disciple, is literally shaped by what you repeatedly focus upon. Section 3. The ways to liberation. So, if repetition binds us, how do we break free? Let me guide you toward how one actually attains freedom. The answer is found in verses 21 and 22. Jnananak shiyate karma moksho hi vasanakshaya. Literally, through true knowledge, the bondage of action is destroyed. Liberation is indeed the complete exhaustion of psychological conditioning and desires. This is the deep, philosophical path to ultimate salvation. Liberation isn't some far-off place you travel to. It's simply the dropping away of the illusions that cloud your vision right now. And when that conditioning finally drops away, what's left? A liberated soul, also known as a jiva mukta. This is a being entirely freed from the cycle of birth and the heavy anchor of worldly illusions. To exist as a liberated soul means you walk through this world without being touched by its sorrows. You experience life with absolute, crystal clarity and unbound freedom. Section 4. True form of God. To achieve this liberation, you must know what is real. We need to shift our focus to the ultimate cosmic reality that exists totally beyond our limited human perception. Let me decode verse 23 for you. Brahma satyam anantam cha, jnanam anandam advayam. The literal meaning describes the true form of God. Brahman is the eternal truth, infinite, pure consciousness, bliss, and without a second. This verse is powerful. It completely strips away all of our limited, humanized concepts of the divine. Understand this definition of Brahman clearly. Brahman isn't a personified deity sitting up in the clouds judging human actions. Not at all. Brahman is the non-dual, infinite consciousness that forms the very fabric of reality itself. It's the unchanging screen that the movie of the universe is playing on. It is the only true reality, and remarkably, O Rama, it is your true nature as well. Section 5. Falsehood of projected appearances. If Brahman is the only reality, what on earth is this world we're looking at? We have to contrast the eternal truth of Brahman with the fleeting nature of the material world. Listen to the profound wisdom of verse 26. Jagat mithya vakalpoyam, avidya rachitam brahmam. Literally, this universe is a false projection, an illusion constructed by ignorance. It exposes the absolute falseness of the appearances we see with our physical eyes. Our senses deceive us. They show us diversity and separation where only infinite unity actually exists. This brings us to the concept of the projected universe. It's a temporary, illusionary manifestation perceived by our limited senses. Think of it like a mirage in a sprawling desert. The mirage looks incredibly real to a thirsty traveler, but it's really just a projection of light. In the exact same way, the world is merely a projection overlaying the true, solid reality of Brahman. Let's use the simple, beautiful metaphor of a gold bracelet to illustrate this. The appearance is the bracelet. That represents the projected universe. But the reality is the gold, which represents Brahman. When you look at a gold bracelet, your conditioned mind immediately says, oh, this is a bracelet. But in truth, it is entirely 100% gold. The bracelet is just a temporary shape, a convenient name we gave it. The reality never stopped being gold. Section 6. Teachings for daily life. So, how do we take this ultimate truth and actually use it in our modern lives? Let's transition from high abstract philosophy to actionable teachings. Here is a practical framework for you to apply the profound wisdom of this canto every single day. Step 1. Let go of ego. Step 2. See the gold in a bracelet. And Step 3. Live like a roasted seed. Let's break down what these powerful metaphors actually mean for you. First, let's explore the metaphor of living like a roasted seed. Think about it. If you plant a raw seed in the ground, it's going to sprout into a new plant, creating new roots and new consequences. But if you roast that seed and then plant it, it stays exactly as it is. It will never sprout. To live like a roasted seed means to engage fully in the world, doing your daily duties, but without those burning, egoic desires that bind you to future suffering and karma. You take action, absolutely, but you sprout no new attachments. And how exactly do you roast that seed? You let go of the ego. You must surrender the illusion of a separated self. Remember, O disciple, to see the gold in the bracelet, you have to completely let go of the ego that desperately insists on seeing only the shape. The ego is literally the only thing standing between your current suffering and your ultimate liberation. It's just the false belief that you are the temporary bracelet, rather than the eternal, shining gold. We've journeyed from your fundamental doubts all the way through the mechanics of the mind, up to the ultimate reality of Brahman, and finally back down to practical daily action. The wisdom of Canto 51 reminds us that the world is just a projection, and true liberation lies in completely shedding our psychological conditioning. So, I ask you, are you ready to see the reality of the gold within the illusion of the bracelet? On behalf of the Vedmata AI family, we request that if you found our presentation informative, please share our video as widely as possible so that authentic knowledge of Indian Vedic texts can reach people. Let us all participate in this yagya of knowledge.